Welcome to Leadership English. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something many experienced fluent leaders quietly struggle with: why your English can start to feel less confident as your leadership increases. If we haven't met yet, I'm Tannia. I'm an executive communication coach, and I help global professionals like you communicate with clarity and confidence in English. Now, let me start with something I see all the time. Some of the smartest, most capable leaders I work with start sounding less certain in English as they become more senior, when the stakes are higher, when they're presenting to leadership, when they're answering difficult questions, when their words carry more weight. And I want to be very clear about this. This is not about needing more English, about needing more vocabulary. It's not about perfect grammar, and it's definitely not about your accent. It's about your delivery. It's about how authority comes across when the pressure is on. Now, here's the paradox. The more senior the room, the more this problem shows up. You're not being misunderstood, you're being read. And what's being read is often uncertainty. At senior levels, communication stops being about proving how much you know. That phase of your career is over. Now your job is three things. First, set the frame. Second, reduce uncertainty. And third, make decisions feel safe to follow. That's leadership communication. But many non-native speakers are still communicating like experts. Experts explain. Executives frame. Experts walk people through their thinking. Executives decide how the room should think. And when that shift doesn't happen, even fluent leaders start sounding unsure. This is why you can be right, prepared, and competent and still not sound confident. Now let's talk about over-explaining. If you're a non-native speaker, you probably know this pattern well. You give more detail than necessary. You justify your ideas as you're presenting them. And it makes sense. You want to be precise. You want to avoid being misunderstood. You want to show that your thinking is solid. But at senior levels, too much detail actually works against you. Here's what happens in real meetings. You start with a clear point. Then you add background, then context, then exceptions, then a safety explanation, and the room quietly shifts from listening for leadership to listening for hesitation. They don't think, oh, this person is thorough. They think, why are they still explaining this? The difference between junior and senior communication is not how much you know. It's about how much you trust your own point. Junior communication sounds like justify, clarify, defend. Senior communication sounds like frame, state, pause. One very practical shift you can make is this. Say your main point in one clean sentence, then stop. If people want detail, they will ask. That pause is not emptiness, it's confidence. Something else to remember is that executive presence is seen before it is heard. Your posture, your pacing, what you do with silence. If you lean forward, rush your words, and fill every gap with sound, your body is telling the room that something is wrong, even if your words are correct. A very simple rule: slow body, steady voice, short sentences. Before you speak in a high-stakes moment, ground your feet, lift your chest slightly, and slow your first sentence. The room will feel it. Something else that impacts executive presence and your confidence as a leader is anxiety. When the stakes go up, anxiety shows up. You freeze, you rush, you overqualify. Internally, you're thinking, I need to say this clearly. I can't get this wrong. Externally, the room hears, this person isn't settled yet. One small tool that helps is to decide one thing you want the room to take away before you speak. Not three, one. That keeps you anchored when the pressure rises. That helps you process your English and deliver it in a much more concise and confident way. So remember this: expertise is not enough. Fluency is not enough. Leadership communication is not about how much you say. It's about how confident you sound when it matters. Before high-stakes moments, breathe, simplify, deliver. If you want deeper insights and more actionable tips, download my proven leadership communication framework. Let's make your executive presence and your English match your expertise.